Hey there, it's Laurie. So, something else I wanted to share with you about is, all our suffering. We all suffer, and there's all different kinds of ways of suffering. Like, there is a tremendous amount of suffering going on in the world in many different ways, very personally, very worldwide. Um, Suffering is probably known more by most than love, which is kind of sad, but it brings us to a place of, coming together, unity, just like a place that we can meet with all this suffering, with grief, with, maybe losing a loved one and, or, being in some physical pain, and it's all very relatable because we all have very similar experiences. They can look very differently. The stories can be so much different in words, but at the bigger picture, it's really all the same. It's suffering on one way or another. And through all my suffering, with I mean, to name a few, there was a lot of addiction in my family when even as a teenager, not in my parents or my siblings, but as a teenager with my friends, and then it just went on. To leave out the stories, I could share them another time, but it impacted me directly and very personally with people that are very, very close to me, including my ex-husband. He was an alcoholic, and my kids lost their dad, at a very young age. He was only in his 50s, and it it's all suffering. Through that suffering, we can connect with each other, and there can be huge blessings that come from it. The suffering, even though I wanted to, pull the covers over my head and just like, oh my God, life is too hard. There was a deep inner urge inside of me that would not do that, and that urge made me want to discover who I really was. Like, what is the purpose of life? What is this body like? What is going on? What is the why? Why are we all here? And questions started coming in, and I really wanted to discover and explore them and really get down to the raw nakedness of who I really am, which is who you really are. Like when we really strip away all the suffering and the pain and look at the love and get really courageous and really dive in. I mean, we all know that love in some form, even though it's so untangible, it's really incredible and addictive. Like there's so many different ways that people describe love, whether it's an intimate relationship or just loving each other. But there's a much stronger love that binds us all together. And you can use the word compassion instead, because maybe that eliminates a lot of the beliefs that some people don't like about love because of the way that they're defining it or their experience of it. So, anyways, I invite you to allow the suffering that you're going through to open up the doors to your heart and discover that raw nakedness of who you really are, where peace flows abundantly, just like the trees, just like the plants, and even the blades of grass. You know, we're all beings of peace. And to unlock that and discover your peace and what that really feels like is amazing. And once you really grasp it and really have that full experience of it where it overrides everything else and the joy comes too, and that peace and joy is something that you can't shake off, and it's really quite beautiful. And that's what makes being here on this planet very livable and a beautiful blessing. So let that suffering open the doors to peace.